Hello and welcome back to our program. And today for our first guest we have Claire Besley, who's an emotional health expert and talking to us about emotional health today. And so Claire, why do you think that there's an epidemic of anxiety and depression in Australia?
I think that's a great question. Obviously it's rampant, we all know about it, we all either had it or we know someone else who's had it. The reason that I think the epidemic is as big as it is and why it's continuously growing and not reducing is because we're living in a society where we're actually taught that to be angry or to be sad or to be disappointed is unhealthy. And so what we do is when these emotions come up, instead of actually allowing them to process, we push them back down, we judge ourselves for having them, and we try not to feel them. And whenever we don't allow ourselves to feel our emotions, they actually build up inside of us and they can get to a point of being uncontrollable. So we can have a panic attack, as an example. So I think that the reason that this epidemic is growing and not reducing is because we are approaching it from a medical perspective of what can we do to reduce it by giving you a tablet, rather than going, how can we help you to efficiently process emotion so that it doesn't build up to the point where you're needing to go to hospital.
And so then what would be the difference between emotional health and mental health?
Yeah, there's a very big difference between mental health and emotional health. And I think in society today, we really are talking and focusing on mental health. Personally, I think if we shifted our focus from mental health to emotional health, we'd actually see a dramatic change in results. They would increase rapidly. Mental health is focused on our thoughts, our processes that we're having cognitively in our minds. Emotional health, when we focus on that, we're actually looking at what is the emotions that are building up in our physical bodies. How much emotion is repressed in our physical body. So when we focus on the body and the emotions in there and we actually learn to release them in a healthy way, the mind clears on its own. So the current approach to let's solve everything from the focus of the mind is treating us as if that's all we are, whereas if we approach healing and becoming well from a focus on emotional health, then the mind actually resolves itself and we kind of kill two birds with one stone. So there's a huge difference, and that focus must shift to one of emotional health if we want to have much better results and a healthier nation.
So what do you think we can do to help resolve that situation?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Look, it's actually incredibly simple. A lot of the work that I do is actually helping people on a daily basis to release the blocked emotions and beliefs that live in the body that cause illness. So the best thing that we can start to do, number one, as a society, is stop having a negative view of people that are having negative emotions. So when you know someone who's angry or someone who's sad, instead of telling them how you'll get over it, sit with them and say, I know you're feeling angry. How about I sit with you in that and allow you to feel that right through, rather than trying to get you to talk you out of it or tell someone why they shouldn't be angry. We teach them to actually embrace it. It's healthy, it's good, and let's feel it together. And once we have a society where we're constantly embracing every kind of emotion, shame, guilt, sadness, apathy, indifference, once we all learn to embrace each other's emotions, we'll start to process them in a much more healthy way, because there won't be the judgment stopping us from experiencing them, and we'll stop suppressing them because we'll realise that they're valuable.
And Claire, could you give us some examples about that, how this emotional health and the differences there is playing out
Yeah.
for people?
Look, I think, we've got this fantastic Are You OK movement, which I love. But my challenge with it is, if we learn to ask everyone, are you OK? What do we do when they say, no, I'm not? Typically then, we might get them to discuss it a little bit more, and they might say, I'm having suicidal thoughts. I don't really want to be here anymore. That's a pretty difficult thing for someone on the other side of that are you okay question to be able to cope with. And typically our response is, no, you're going to be okay, your life's amazing, I'll help you through it, everything's going to be all right. What I think needs to shift is we actually need to allow people to have these feelings and recognise that they're just emotions. So instead of immediately trying to talk somebody out of experiencing that emotion, maybe it's time for us to say, you know what, it's okay for you to feel like that. And how about I sit here with you and actually we go into those feelings, and how about I feel your grief with you? Because at the other side of feeling that grief is a release. And that person will then quite often shift out of that state and no longer have those thoughts, because the thoughts are just the response to the feelings. So I'd love to see the Are You OK movement extended a little bit to what do we do when they say that they're not okay, and how do we help them embrace what they're feeling, allow their body to process it and metabolize it, so their mind then recognises, actually, no, I don't want to die. this is something I do on a daily basis. I've done this with hundreds of clients now. I don't run away from their pain. I go into it with them and enable them to process it. And I don't believe this is just only something for therapists to do. I believe everybody has a role in this society to help everybody as much and as often as we can. So I think extending the "Are you okay?" to allowing emotion would be the best thing we could do together.
And in the Australian society, that'd be a great thing to incorporate to people to be aware of, that it's okay. It is okay.
Yeah.
And just relax a little bit about.
That's right. And I think that the challenge is we can't deal with other people's emotions. It's scary to have someone you love or someone you know expressing these horrible, scary thoughts. But the reason that it's so difficult for us is because we're not comfortable with our own emotions. We suddenly feel scared ourselves when someone's saying that to us. And because we don't know how to process and accept our own, it makes it even harder for us to accept someone we love that's experiencing emotion. So the first thing we have to do is start to trust and allow ourselves without judgment to experience our emotions as they come up, and recognise that emotions are beautiful and we need all of them. You can't feel love and joy without having experienced grief and anger. We can't dismiss half of them and only want the others. Life is a balance. And so really understanding, okay, I'm angry today. This is not bad. This is good. Let me feel into it and allow it to move. And then you might even move to courage or joy, and then you'll realise that anger was of great benefit to you. But while we're saying repress it, people end up going out and getting aggressive because it's built up inside. This is the movement that must take place if we want to rid ourselves of depression and anxiety. This must occur.
Well, that's wonderful, Claire. Great to have you on board today. And for more information on Claire and emotional health, then please go to our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. And now we'll go to break. Welcome back. And next we have Michelle Richardson, a lymphologist, and she's back with us today talking about lymphatic drainage massage. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, thank you.
So what is lymphatic drainage?
Yes, now that's a big mouthful, isn't it?
Yes.
It's not known, okay? People often will say, what is it? And how do you do it on someone? Well, it's a very light touch. It activates the lymphatic system, which actually removes the waste and excess blood proteins from the cells. The lymphatic system has got one-track valves that go up the body. You want all the waste to come up and into the middle of the body, and you have a major lymph node in the middle here. They're called terminals, where all your lymphocytes and white blood cells get the toxins and deliver it to these areas to be cleansed, to be filtered back as pure water, then it goes back into the bloodstream through the heart, through the top of the neck here. And often people don't even know what lymph nodes are or where they are in the body. Okay, so I suggest a simple technique to demonstrate if you need some help with getting rid of your toxins in your body. So if you go to just below your ear and you just press slightly, maybe half a centimetre to a centimetre, and if that's tender or even painful, or lumps, or even a bit of fatty tissue, you know that your lymph nodes here are full and blocked, and they do need help to clear them, okay? Because you got to remember that the lymph system is delivering the waste to this area, and this main area gets oxygen into your head. Now you think this fluid, if it's not taken away with the lymph vessels, it becomes hard, and the pressure then builds up around the artery walls, maybe of your veins and things like that, and closes down the vein wall. It's still getting oxygen through, so you're not getting as much oxygen. So people then are walking around, they're feeling like, oh, they're fogged in the head or not really there, because we need oxygen, right, to live, yeah? Okay, so if it's feeling sore or tender, so even when you're having a stressful day and you want to calm down, you just have to gently stroke. Now, they say about 50 strokes down towards the centre of the body, just below the ear. You can even do behind the ear as well, you've got lymph nodes here, and just a very gentle touch, because the movement of your energy on your hands to someone's body actually pulls the enzymes to help the body flow. And you know, when you rub your hands together, you create some redness, or electricity. That's bringing the blood to the surface as well, and it helps to get rid of the toxins and the excess fluid. Right? The lymphatic system also has lids on them. The lymph nodes have got lids on them. Okay, so the pressure has to be greater on the down than the up to open up the lid, because the body's smart. Did you know that? It's very smart. It doesn't want the excess waste and fluid to store down the ankles. It must come up to be processed. That's why if people have a lot of swelling in the ankles and it's not moving, it means that it's too much around the lymph nodes of their knees. Right? A lot of people get sore knees or injured in your knees and hips, and we got lymph vessels, pockets of them under our knees, you know, groin of our panty line of our hips, through the middle, armpits, and our neck. Right? And the thing is that once you clear these in one gentle massage, that's all it is. This is such a non-invasive way to get rid of stubborn fat, which has become hard in the cells on the outside of the skin and the organs to block the oxygen.
So what are the overall benefits for people from having lymphatic drainage massage?
It can benefit everyone, from as young as 5 years old, or even babies, to someone who's 99. It just moves the waste out of the body to bring oxygen back into the body, which helps repair and maintain the body. Simple, isn't it? The waste blocks the nutrients and oxygen going to the cells. If someone has got arthritis or a condition of any kind, you just have to learn to get oxygen into the body and move the waste away, which is the lymphatic drainage massage. Very easy to do, very gentle, and often people fall asleep. Because people say, oh, what's the difference between traditional massage to lymphatic drainage? Right. Well, traditional massage uses and relies on hard rubbing. The benefits are for everyone, from a very young child to someone who's very old, from your grandparents to your siblings, anyone. It benefits everyone because it's a relaxation. And it actually makes you nice and peaceful and calm and reduce the toxins in your body, and toxins make you sick. It breaks down the immune system, which is near your chest, and by doing gentle stroking or massage around the middle and through the arms and the trunk, it's just a very relaxing massage to do.
So Michelle, then what would be your best advice for our viewers as a takeaway today?
My best advice was make sure you see a professional, okay, who's been qualified in the lymphatic system and how to activate it, okay. And that's all I can really say is it's a wonderful system and to cleanse your body and make you feel refreshed, renewed, full of energy, pumped for the day, clearing out toxins so you can actually get all your organs to activate, to lose weight, to build muscle, to feel great. So it's a wonderful, and I cannot say enough how good it is for everyone to go and experience lymphatic drainage.
Thank you very much. And for more information on Michelle Richardson and lymphatic drainage massage, then please go to her webpage on our website, healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au. Now, and see you after the break. Welcome back. And now we have Mark Carazzo, business consultant and coach, And continuing the series on positive psychology, today we're talking about positive emotions. And over to Mark. Mark, why is that important? Why are they important?
Well, Linda, they're very important, but before I get into that, I'd just like to give a bit of an outline of the most common positive emotions we deal with every day, and they would be things like serenity, awe, inspiration, curiosity, hope, pride, gratitude, love. They're all the things that we love to hear and we love to want more of. So I suppose the question of why they're important, firstly, they make us feel good. Nobody can have enough positive feelings. But what we've learned is that more positive emotions in our life actually dial up the learning centres in our brain. And this really means that we see life from a broader perspective, we can see opportunity, and we can accept what other people are saying. Negative emotions, things like fear, tend to lead us into a very negative form of behaviour like flight, or sadness into withdrawal. But we know now that positive emotions are broadening, and this has been given to us through effective brain imaging science as well as eye tracking science. So you can see that if we want to be the best form of ourselves, we need to try and experience as many positive emotions as possible, and certainly more positive emotions on a regular basis than negative. It also has been shown from a study called the Nun study that positive emotions lead to longevity. About 200 nuns in 1930, upon entering a convent, did a bit of an autobiographical study on what they were hoping to get out of life in the convent. Now, 6 decades later, scientists tried to take that writing to try and anticipate what in that writing could indicate how long those particular nuns would live for. And it wasn't the intelligence evidenced by their writing which showed how long they would live for. It wasn't where they lived, it was more a question of how many positive emotions, how much happiness was shown in their particular writing. So I think that's very important. Positive emotions lead to longevity. It is also a buffer, a protective resilience against difficult times. And we also know, I think curiously now, is that people that experience positive emotions tend to have a more coherent and smooth heart activity, which is very important.
Oh, okay. And how would you say then, how could people incorporate more positive emotions into their lives?
I think the first thing to do is look at things that we already have in our lives, particularly even the small things, and be grateful for them. So I suggest that people practice regularly gratitude journaling, or practice gratitude in their everyday life, find something to be thankful for. That of itself is a positive emotion. It's gratitude, it's also things like serenity, it brings awe, it brings curiosity. So gratitude is very important. I think the other thing we can do is savour pleasant experiences that we have in our life. We tend to jump from one good thing to the next and forget what we've been through. So it's a concept known as savouring or replaying. Something, for instance, from your past holiday within 6 months, live through how you felt that day, the emotions that you were feeling, the positive sense. You're basically reproducing something for which you've already experienced. So I think that's, 2 clear ways to do it. The other thing I really strongly advocate is meditation. It's a word which is confusing to a lot of people, but just finding something small, normally associated with nature, that you can focus on, calm yourself down, focus on that piece of nature, and try and keep the mind still is a great way, the research says, of bringing positive emotions into our life.
So important. And what about the workplace then?
Well, the workplace is a place where we spend a lot of our time. We spend 8 hours a day there, and yes, it can be a place for positive emotions. When you think about it, pride in your work, you can be inspired by other people, you can be in awe of other people. It's a place where relationships are very important to us, so there's even possibility of love. And when I say love, I don't necessarily mean love in the romantic sense. I mean love in a sense where we have mutual care for people, we share positive emotions with them. So the workplace is very important. The other thing to really note about the workplace is the concept of contagion, which basically really dictates that our moods and emotions are highly transferable to others. So we can pick up positive emotions from others, and importantly, I think we can share and give positive emotions to people that we work with.
Mark, would some positive emotions be more important than others?
It's a very individual question to ask that. I think they're all important. There's two that personally stick out for me. One of them is gratitude. Because we're so ambitious and because we're prone to sort of negativity, I think it's very important to rebalance our life, get into the present moment, is to look at what we've got on a regular basis and be thankful for it. And that unleashes a whole lot of positive emotions in our lives. So for me, gratitude is one. The other one is love. And I'm not saying love in the romantic sense. I'm saying love in moments of mutual care, in sharing of positive emotions with many people during our day and our friends. It's proven to be very important. We're seeing some good evidence showing that love helps us to have smooth, coherent heart patterns and really is very valuable to our health.
And what about some hints for our viewers? What would be some final hints on experiencing positive emotions?
Well, do something that you love and you enjoy. Go out into nature, I think particularly, and not only experience positive emotions, but tell yourself you're experiencing positive emotions. So that moment is not lost on you, whether you say it outwards or whether you say it inwards. So that would be a key one. I think meditation is very important, as I've said before. And the other thing I think we should realise in this modern world, we tend to all carry mobile phones, and we really have seen them in some cases as a necessary item that accompanies us. It can be used for positive emotions. All of us have photos in there. All of us can create slideshows of our recent holidays. All of us can take a photo of nature. So I'd say there's 3 tips for you.
Thank you so much, Mark. For more information on Mark Corazzo, then please go to our website healthwellbeingandlifestyle.com.au, talking about positive psychology. And for now, we'll say bye-bye, and we'll see you back here next week.